Bing back, bing bong, boom, bom, bom. What's up? It's Shawnee Sean. What is going on? It's your boy, Shawnee Sean. And it is day 2 of NFL free agency, I guess. And not that much exciting stuff actually happened today. It looked like all the buzz was mostly yesterday, but still some moves to catch up on. The latest and greatest signing of the day was the Bills are signing pass rusher Joey Bosa to a 1 year, $12.6 million deal. So there's no brotherly love reunion in the Bay. It would have been real cool to see Joey Bosa and his brother connect, but unfortunately that is not happening. The 5-time Pro Bowler pass rusher Joey Bosa is signing with the Bills. Um, the contract has a max value of 15.6 million. And was recently cut by the Chargers after spending 9 seasons there and having 72 sacks with the team. Bosa joins, um, the Bills got rid of Von Miller, so it'll be nice to have a slightly younger pass rusher who has had a very good career on his hands. But yeah, the NFL draft order for all 7 rounds. Yeah, I don't really care about that. Ravens are signing former Chiefs wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to a 1 year deal and $6 million. The Ravens just seem to be going through this rotation of veteran wide receivers one after another. And D Hops is definitely one of the most sure-handed receivers for Lamar Jackson in a while. They had OBJ, and now they have D Hop. So D Hop had a decent season with the Chiefs this year and played with Pat Mahomes. He had 41 receptions, 437 yards, and 4 touchdowns in 10 games. Had a big drop in the Super Bowl, so and was also talking a lot of trash. But I digress. I'm excited to see him with the Ravens and Lamar. The Cardinals signed veteran backup Jacoby Brissett to back up Kyler Murray. Good signing for the Cardinals. Nothing too sexy or special, but Jacoby can definitely win you a game when necessary or when your quarterback is out. Where is Rodgers going? He's probably going to go to either the Steelers or Minnesota Vikings. I know that the Steelers technically would prefer Rodgers over Wilson, but the Steelers are definitely in between those two guys. I think that they're probably going to end up with Russell Wilson, and I personally think that the Minnesota Vikings would be a great fit for Aaron Rodgers, and maybe that's just because he completes the whole Brett Favre trilogy of Packers to Jets to Minnesota. So that would be really cool, and the internet would go nuts for that. But yeah, Daniel Jones signs with the Indianapolis Colts to compete against Anthony Richardson, where he might actually be able to win that job. I mean, I think Anthony Richardson is by far the more superior talent as far as physical attributes and just ability on the field, but at the same time, he can't stay healthy. He's gotten hurt both seasons in the league so far, so hopefully he can, learn the playbook and stay healthy. But Danny Dimes is definitely going to be a threat to start, and we'll see what happens. Bengals are interested, or at least talking about trading Trey Hendrickson. I know the Eagles are actually one of the teams that are interested in him, and it would actually make a lot of sense as a destination for the Eagles, considering they lost a pass rusher in Sweat and missed out on the Myles Garrett sweepstakes, I guess. So it would be very nice if the Eagles could be able to trade for Trey Hendrickson. I also heard that the Eagles were interested in Justin Reed, who signed with the Saints. But curious just the fact that they traded away C.J. Gardner-Johnson for a guard from the Texans, who was a former first-round pick. So I I don't know. I would have liked to keep C.J. Gardner-Johnson as an Eagles fan. I think he was the vocal leader and really brought this nice tenacity to that defense. But I guess they had other plans, or maybe the organization just doesn't like CJ's antics as much as the fans do. But I trust in Howie, and I think that he capitalized on his value. But at the same time, I think the Eagles are losing a very great player. So hopefully Jeff Stoutland can revitalize this O lineman, Kenyon. I forget his last name, Kenyon something. Similar to how they did with Mekhi Becton last year. Mekhi Becton is still a free agent, and the Eagles are definitely interested in bringing him back, although maybe that changes a little bit after just trading for a guard. But we will see. John Jones versus Tom. John Jones, I guess. But I don't really know UFC too well. Colts sign Danny Dimes. Eagles trade CJ. Vikings beef up their trenches with Jonathan Allen, Will Fries, and Javon Hargrave. So some nice additions for the Vikings on defense and offense, both O-line or both lines. So congratulations to Minnesota for getting a incrementally better and maybe getting a new quarterback soon. Although maybe they have a lot of faith in J.J. McCarthy. He was a first-round pick and got hurt before the season, so he still has a lot of potential and could be a good player. We will see how that develops. Just a recap of some other big-name free agents and where they had gone. Not just stuff that happened today, but Chris Godwin re-signs with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Javon Holland signs with the New York Giants. Sam Darnold is now a Seahawk. I don't love that pick, that trade, that signing. I think the Seahawks should have just stuck with Geno, but I digress. Josh Sweat is now an Arizona Cardinal. Thank you for your service as a Philadelphia Eagle. Milton Williams, another former Philadelphia Eagle, got paid with the Patriots and now has the largest contract in Patriots history. That's right, Milton Williams is getting paid more than Tom Brady ever did as a Patriot, which is just sort of a mind-blowing idea, but best of luck to Milton Williams and congratulations on the big payday. Carlton Davis also goes to the Patriots, so they are beefing up that defense on the D-line and in the secondary. Some of the best... We'll go... Hold on 1 second. We are... No, wrong thing. This, and then... Bam. No, wrong thing. Bam. And then... hold on. Sorry, I'm also on YouTube, so I'm trying to get this looking nice and pretty, but it's having a little bit of a technical difficulty, but we're going to get this up and get the Twitter here, and now we're good to go. Cool. So, if you look on my tweets, I retweeted the best free agents available right now, and those are Aaron Rodgers, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, Nick Chubbs, J.K. Dobbins, Amari Cooper, Tyler Lockett, Evan Ingram, Brandon Cooks, Mekhi Becton, Russell Wilson, Josh Myers, Cam Robinson, Azeez Ojulari, Von Miller, Elijah Moore, Justin Simmons, and Damar Hamlin. So some of the bigger names that are still available. We will see where they get picked up and where they sign. It might not happen immediately. Evan Ingram visited the Broncos but did not sign officially. And then I think he also visited the Colts. But let me just double check on that and make sure I'm not just spitting fake news or anything. But 20 minutes ago, yeah, I mean, it seems like the Broncos are definitely interested in him, and it might be happening. But after visiting the Broncos on Monday, leaving without a deal, veteran tight end Evan Ingram is visiting divisional rival Los Angeles Chargers. Maybe getting that price up, or we'll see. Evan Ingram's 30 and arguably one of the best tight ends on the market right now. So would be a nice addition to Sean Payton's offense in Denver. However, we don't know yet. Evan Ingram is a two-time Pro Bowler, has 496 receptions for almost 5,000 yards and 25 touchdowns in his career. Hopefully he can build on that with either Bo Nix or Justin Herbert or whoever's in Indianapolis, because I heard that they were also interested, although I'm not seeing that in this article, which was literally written 20 minutes ago. So I feel pretty good about that, even though I don't follow MSN that closely. Mahomes is Josh's father. Yeah, I mean, at least in NFC or AFC championship games, it seems like that. Justin Herbert traded to the Eagles. Yeah, that's not happening. The Eagles are very happy with Jalen Hurts, and they would not trade 3 firsts for Justin Herbert, even though he might be worth that. Eagles did trade for a quarterback in what's it called? What did I do there? Whoops. Oh no! Shoop! Shoop-a-doop, shoop-a-doop. Oh man, I messed it up. Oh, sorry about that. I am going back here, and then there, and then unlocking this John, and then I don't know why this is not working. I'm sorry that I'm doing like multiple things at once, but I appreciate you guys following along and staying. It's weird that the Eagles, I saw a picture, and if you look at the screenshot or whatever of my YouTube video, you'll see that it's kind of weird that the Eagles have just lost so many players. I appreciate you guys following along and staying, especially on the defensive side. If you look, they have a lot of, holes to fill, considering that, let's see, we'll just go to the picture. Considering that we have Slay is now a Steeler, Sweat is now a Cardinal, Milton Williams is now a Patriot. I don't know who this guy in the background is, but he's now a Bengal. And Isaiah is now a Minnesota Viking. So a lot of new faces and new places, even on the Eagles championship squad. I still have a lot of faith that they can continue to compete, and they still have the highest odds to win or to make it to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. So hopefully they can continue to, be in that direction. Howie Roseman is definitely one of the better GMs, and always has moves up his sleeves. The Eagles have 8 picks in this upcoming draft, so pretty excited. Let's see. I want to catch up on some of these comments that I see. See when the Eagles did y'all. Yeah, I mean, without that holding penalty, maybe the Eagles could have had 2 Super Bowls or been trying to go for their own three-peat. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. And, all good things come to an end with the Chiefs. And I am grateful that the Eagles won a Super Bowl a couple weeks ago and 7 years ago. And, it's pretty great to go to the Super Bowl. Makes your team get cool merch like this hat. And you can check that out on Fanatics.com. I have affiliate links, helps the channel, but Fanatics has cool sports gear and merchandise for all your favorite teams, so check them out. Doesn't matter if you're a Birds fan or a college football fan. But yeah. Taylor Swift, check out my YouTube remix of her song 22. I did 40-22, which is the Eagles Super Bowl score. Did like a 3.5 minute music video. It's pretty funny and entertaining if you ask me, and filled with a lot of Eagles references, especially regarding the Super Bowl. So check that out and follow and subscribe on YouTube, where I am starting to explode the channel. I'm pretty excited about that personally. Been growing my YouTube channel for about 4 or 5 years now, and the fact that the Eagles have won a Super Bowl and had an amazing playoff ride has really helped the channel, but also keeping me even more motivated than before. So I am here giving you some fun football content with a Eagles focus. So I apologize, but that's really just what I know. I have a part-time job with the Eagles, working game days, so a lot of fun sharing the love. But check me out and all my channels, and we can get back to NFL free agency. I really like a lot of the moves that the Bills have been making so far. Um, they get ahead of the game, signing Josh Allen to a monster deal, and it seems like a lot of freaking money with what, $330 million or something like that. But I'm pretty confident that it will actually look like a cheap deal in a couple years, especially for an MVP caliber quarterback. But like someone said earlier in the comments, it's definitely needs to beat Mahomes in the playoffs. And the Chiefs definitely look like they got a little bit worse, at least in free agency so far. So we will see if that continues or if they can prevail. When you have Pat Mahomes as your quarterback, you can usually overcome a lot of mistakes. And that's certainly what the Chiefs did this season, considering they won a lot of close games. I think like 9 of their wins this year were like 3 points or less. So yeah. Teams or losers on the day, I guess, are teams that are waiting for extensions, and the one that really comes to mind is the Cowboys and Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, the every day you wait is just going to cost you a little bit more. Myles Garrett just signed a massive extension. Max Crosby just signed a massive extension. So, if Jerry Jones was smart and proactive, then Micah Parsons would already have a 4 or 5 year deal going for himself. But they do not. The Cowboys have actually been somewhat active in free agents so far, which is actually I don't want to say a breath of fresh air because I'm an Eagles fan, but something that I'm not as accustomed to. They re-signed Kayvon Turpin. They re-signed Osa Odigizua. They signed a running back, and I think that they are actually rumored to be one of the teams interested in Cooper Kupp. So stay tuned for that. Still wrapping my head around the Seahawks trading DK Metcalf to the Steelers. I'm very excited to see how DK Metcalf and George Pickens perform on the field together. They're very similar wide receivers, with the fact that they're just big body guys that love contested catches. They both have very nice speed, and they are both a little bit batshit crazy every once in a while. DK Metcalf and George Pickens seem like they're doing like wrestling moves on the field sometimes. But like I said, pure entertainment. So I'm excited to see who will be throwing the ball in Pittsburgh. Right now, it seems most likely like it's going to be Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, and then a dark horse guy that they might even bring back would be Mason Rudolph. So who knows? Stay tuned for that. Bills fan respect Eagles fans. Yo, Eagles fans respect Bills fans. I feel bad. I think that Bills stands for boy. I love losing Super Bowls. But I love Josh Allen. He's my fantasy quarterback, and I think that I'm just rooting for you guys to beat the Chiefs every year. So until you do that, it's I just I want the Chiefs to do, or I want the Bills to do well. And even as an Eagles fan, I kind of root for the Lions a little bit too. Love Dan Campbell and what he's done, biting off kneecaps. Love the redemption of Jared Goff. The Sonic and Knuckles backfield is really fun in Detroit. But even Slay said in a I think his podcast, or was a feature on a podcast the other day, he said that the Eagles wanted to play the Detroit Lions in the NFC Championship because according to Slay, they were doing a bunch of cute stuff with like trick plays and speed, and Slay felt confident that Fangio's defense was just gonna stop all that cute shit. This is me paraphrasing. This is not my quote. I am glad that the Eagles played the Commanders. I thought that was a much easier matchup in the NFC Championship, and I'm grateful that the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl. Bing bong, bang, back. So yeah. Oh, congratulations. It looks like J-Dog is a big Patriots fan. But yeah, you're getting a great defensive tackle with Milton Williams. The Eagles actually had him somewhat expendable. DT is like one of their deepest positions last year. Jalen Carter is pretty much the next Aaron Donald. Jordan Davis is just a mammoth of a human being. And then they also have Moro Ajomo, who was like a 6th-round pick out of Texas. And he's actually done really well in the limited snaps that he's got. So he'll probably have a bigger role for the Philadelphia Eagles. So a lot of the people are thinking that the Eagles are losing a lot of guys, and they are, but they're also getting younger, and they had a lot of their reinforcements already on the team through the draft. Keely Ringo will probably have a bigger role this upcoming year. Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt will probably have a bigger role on the pass rush. So excited to see these young guys develop with the Philadelphia Eagles. Howie Roseman wants to stay young and competitive, and it looks like they will do that, especially with having 8 picks in this upcoming draft, and they will probably move up and down around to get the players they want. T. Higgins is still on a franchise tag right now, but I wouldn't be too surprised if he was potentially traded. We were just talking about to a Patriots fan, so the Patriots are kind of desperate for a number 1 wide receiver, if you ask me. Signing Mac Hollins is definitely a nice addition, but the Patriots have like 3 or 4 number 2 or 3 wide receivers rather than an alpha and some other guys. So we'll see. Kansas City Swifties, yeah, I like that as a nickname for them. The attention that Taylor Swift brought to them is definitely good for the league, so I don't want to hate too much on it. I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift fan, but I did remake her 22 song, 4022, with the Philadelphia Eagles, final score of the Super Bowl. Check out the full music video on YouTube, although I have like a 1-minute clip on my TikTok, so you can also check that out. But yeah, let's see who got franchise tagged and what has been happening with them. The Kansas City Chiefs, give me 1 second, kaboom, tagged O-lineman Trey Smith. And it looks like they're trying to work out a long-term deal with him, but if not, he'll get $23.4 million and become the highest guard in league history, which doesn't make so much sense to me because I thought it was the average of the top 5 when you get tagged. But if he's projected to make the most, I don't know, maybe that's just inflation. And then the only other tag in the league is T. Higgins, and the Bengals would owe him a 20% increase over last year's number. Higgins played at basically $22 million last year, so this upcoming tag would cost the Bengals $26 million, which is a lot, and I think you just gotta commit to the guy long term. Him, Joe Burrow, and Jamar Chase are a great trifecta, and Joe Burrow even said in the offseason, like, dude, like, if the Eagles can do it, why can't we? Like, I want to play with my boys, so let my guy play with his boys, and don't, tear the team apart. But I don't know. So those are pretty much all the tags in today's news. Let's see, recap, if anything. Najee Harris signed with the Chargers. That'll be interesting and exciting to see. 1 second. Let's see our other sources and if we have any other exciting news to catch up on. Live updates. Best quarterbacks on the market right now are Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. Some backups available are Mac Jones. Ryan Tannehill still in the league. But Jameis Winston could potentially start for a starting job, or at least, bring some entertainment value. Dude's going to be amazing once he joins the media. Drew Lock is a free agent. That should have been a re-signing for the Giants, but I digress there. Giants definitely still need a quarterback, and I think they have the 6th pick in this year's draft, so they might be able to get Shedeur Sanders or or Cam Ward, although I think that's less likely. But yeah. Running backs Nick Chubb and J.K. Dobbins are available. Jamal Williams and Miles Sanders was cut today. So we'll see. But this is a pretty good running back draft upcoming. So, a lot of these teams are probably going to look towards the draft to get a new guy in the backfield. When it comes to wide receivers, Stephon Diggs and Keenan Allen are still aging veterans, but very good. Amari Cooper is definitely one of the younger, prolific wide receivers on the market. Brandon Cooks is definitely, and Tyler Lockett are maybe past their primes. Elijah Moore is a young guy with a lot of upside. Would actually like if the Eagles maybe considered him. He was college teammates with A.J. Brown, and A.J. Brown gave him a lot of credit as far as like college motivation. So for whoever that's worth. But yeah. What else do we got? Robert Woods, Juju Smith-Schuster, Nick Westbrook-Akine, Nelson Aguilar. We're not getting too exciting with some of these names, but I'm pretty sure we can talk about some of the wide receivers re-signings, I guess. Marquise Brown's re-signs with the Chiefs on a 1-year deal. Darius Slayton gets a 3-year, $36 million deal with the Giants, which is hilarious because that's pretty much the same contract that Saquon could have signed with the Eagles last year. So they basically chose Daniel Jones and Darius Slayton over Saquon Barkley. Not exactly, but like they chose to pay Daniel Jones ahead of Saquon. Then they tagged Saquon, didn't get a long-term deal done. Then they threatened to franchise him another year. They let him test his free market, and they signed Darius Slayton this year. So I don't know what the Giants are doing. I'm glad I'm not a fan of their team because I would be frustrated. And same thing with the Seahawks because I just don't know what they're doing either. I'm a big Geno Smith fan, maybe just because I went to West Virginia, but I think he can sling it even at 34 years old, and I don't think the Seahawks got any better signing Sam Darnold to a 3-year, $100 million deal, even if he is 5 or 6 years younger than him. But it is kind of funny that Geno was once a potential franchise quarterback for the Jets and found his footing in Seattle. So maybe history can sort of repeat itself with Darnold. And, he had a great year with Minnesota this year. So he his best year of his career. So we'll see. Steelers got to be happy about Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, it looks like he is the most likely candidate to play quarterback for the Steelers next year. The Steelers are right now between Aaron Rodgers as their priority, Russell Wilson as their backup, and then backup plan, and then Mason Rudolph is like their desperation play. But, I wouldn't be too surprised if they maybe drafted a quarterback somewhat early. Jalen Milroe and Jackson Dart could be available at their pick. Steelers have, I think, the 22nd pick, so we'll see. Pack it up. No, I'm still going for a little bit longer, but you're right, it is getting a little late, so we will probably conclude this pretty soon. Evan Ingram and Tyler Conklin are probably the best tight ends available on the market. Zach Ertz re-signed with the Commanders. Mike Gesicki re-signed with the Bengals. And that's pretty much the exciting tight end news. Although I am a big fan of Mo Alley-Cox, who's a free agent, former VCU power forward who made it in the NFL. So fun, exciting story there. Center Drew Dahlman signs with the Bears on a 3-year deal, which was great for the Bears to beef up and improve their O-line. The Bears have actually had a very good off-season or free agency so far, so I'm excited to see how that team develops with Caleb Williams going forward. They did lose Keenan Allen, so maybe they add another wide receiver, although DJ Moore and Rome Odunze are a nice tandem. Offensive tackle, Ronnie Staley re-signs with the Ravens. Aldrick Jackson re-signs with the Rams. Dan Moore signs with the Titans. Morgan Moses signs with the Patriots. And, that's pretty much it. Tyrone Smith and Cam Robinson are both free agents when it comes to the O-line. Would you rather have DK and Russ than Aaron Rodgers and Russ? Are you saying the Giants, the G? Yeah, I think the Giants would rather have. I think most of these teams would rather have Aaron Rodgers, despite all the I don't know, darkness retreats and ayahuasca trips that he's going on. Pretty much the off field stuff. But I think he's a great fit in Pittsburgh, especially if he's going to try to continue to do his weekly shows with Pat McAfee, especially since Pat McAfee is a Yinzer and a Pittsburgh fan. Went to West Virginia. Yeah, offensive guards. Trey Smith got franchise tagged by the Chiefs. Will Fry signs with the Vikings. Mekhi Becton is probably the best available guy. Kind of revitalized his career with Jeff Stoutland and the Philadelphia Eagles, and now got a ring on that finger. From the 804 to the 215. Laken Tomlinson signs with the Texans. I like him. And that's pretty much all I got on the offensive side. On the defensive side, edge rusher Josh Sweat, former Philadelphia Eagle, is now a Cardinal. Hassan Reddick, former Eagle and Jet, is now a Buck on a one-year deal betting on himself, which did not work out so well for him last year. Khalil Mack re-signs with the Chargers. The Eagles were a little bit interested in him, but congratulations to Bosa for signing with the Bills. Chase Young re-signs with the Saints on a 3-year deal, which is kind of weird that he got a decently long-term deal, considering I don't know if he proved that much, but he is an extremely great talent. That's why he was the number 1 pick a couple years ago in the Joe Burrow draft. I want to say that was 2020, 2021. Harold Landry III signs with the Patriots. The Patriots have done a lot to beef up their offensive and defensive. They're just improving the team a lot, and they had a lot of money to spend. I think they had the most money to spend in free agency, so hopefully those investments pay off for them. As far as the D tackle position, Osa Odigizua was re-signed to the Cowboys before free agency started. Milton Williams signs with the Patriots. Jonathan Allen signs with the Vikings on a 3-year deal after being cut by the Commanders. Grady Jarrett signs with the Bears. Like I said, I like a lot of the moves that the Bears have been doing, adding and trying to support Caleb Williams, their franchise quarterback. Thoughts on the Broncos moves? It hasn't been too exciting for the Broncos so far. I love the marriage between Sean Payton and Bo Nix. I was really high on Bo Nix in the draft last year and going into this season. I'd love if they added another wide receiver there, but we will see how the Broncos really do in free agency. I hear that they are rumored to be interested in Evan Ingram, the tight end, former New York Giant and Jacksonville Jaguar, so we will see where he lands. I also know that the Chargers are very interested in Evan Ingram's services, so that should be a move that happens relatively soon. I think we'll get those answers sooner than later, maybe in the next day or two. At the linebacker position, Zach Bond re-signed with the Philadelphia Eagles, which was definitely one of the bigger priorities for Howie and Eagles fans. Zach Bond was... I just lowered my chair by accident. Zach Bond was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate this year. Really... sort of turned into, I don't want to say a household name, but made himself known across the NFL. Had, I think, almost 150 tackles and I don't know, just stats all over. Had an interception in the Super Bowl. Zach Bond, you are very welcome to stay in Philadelphia and keep being a mentor for Nakobe Dean. But yeah, I loved that the Steelers and Big Ben was joking around saying that he would come back. So shout out JB. I think that was your name. Yeah. He wore his helmet and he said like DK Metcalf, George Pickens, like I got a couple snaps in me. So it's fun when, old veterans like that are still ready to play, spin the rock, baby. I think Deion Sanders could even probably give you a handful of snaps these days. But very excited to see where Shador lands. I think he's a premier quarterback in this year's draft. But we're not really talking too much about the draft. But I just want you to know that I'm a big Shador Sanders fan, and he, in my belief, will be a top 10 pick. So if you see some of these headlines saying that he'll fall out of the first round or out of the top 10, I think that that's just a trash take when it really comes down to it. 49ers definitely need a good draft because they are just preparing to pay for Purdy. It seems like the 49ers are sort of having a purge. A lot of the talent on that team is disappearing quickly through this free agency. So we will see how that develops. And also the contract that Brock Purdy gets. I don't think he's going to get, like record breaking the most NFL money ever, but I do expect him to get a very nice hefty payday, probably similar to like a Trevor Lawrence deal, which is still one of the largest contracts in the NFL, as ridiculous as that sounds. But I think Pat Mahomes has the most guaranteed money still and had like a $500 million 10-year deal. Josh Allen definitely has the second largest NFL contract with guaranteed money and just signed an extension that will keep him in Buffalo till 2030, I want to believe. And he's engaged too to Haley Steinfeld, probably my favorite NFL couple. Sorry, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. But yeah. 49ers are definitely kind of falling apart. They lost Ward and Dre Greenlaw, so two of their premier defensive players. They also lost a couple other guys, so it's got to be a couple or tough couple days as a fan of the 49ers, but I'm not, so Eagles are doing just fine in my opinion, even though losing CJ was definitely a loss today. But the Eagles traded away him and got a former first round pick in exchange, so we'll see how things develop and the NFL draft and all of that. I'm probably going to cut this off pretty soon, but I think the 49ers still playoffs. They should be competing for a playoff spot. I think the 49ers are like the 14th team in my latest power rankings, which was like a month ago. So take that for whatever it's worth. I did that. Let's see. Right after the Super Bowl, I want to say. Let's actually look at that and see if I wanted to move any of these technically ratings. Debo is now commander. All right, so I had the Eagles as number 1, Chiefs as 2. The 49ers were like literally mid-tier for me currently. But that was more just telling how they ended the season, and I knew that they wouldn't be able to re-sign some of these guys. But CMC, Kittle, even if they keep Ayuk, is definitely a great trio. And as long as Purdy's throwing the rock, they should have some stability in that offense. And that defense is just really well coached over the past few years. So I'm sure that new stars will emerge, despite the losses of Dre Greenlaw and Ward. So yeah. The score was 40-22. Darius Slay is now a Steeler. Joey Bosa got cut and signed with the Bills. Pete Carroll and Geno Smith reunite in Las Vegas. Brenda Song is apparently a big Rams fan. Myles Garrett re-signs a monster deal. Cooper Kupp might be traded or cut to the Cowboys. They've shown some interest. Justin Fields reunites with his college wide receiver Garrett Wilson on the New York Jets. Milton Williams is now a Patriot. Kenny Pickett was traded to the Cleveland Browns. And Jordan and Jalen Hurts is pretty much a living, breathing Jordan commercial. So that is pretty much going to wrap things up for today. Hope you enjoyed the stream. I will try to do this more often. Thank you for tuning in. Peace, love, and happiness, and go birds, baby. Meow, Johnny.